Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition, located on Cal and Lorraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning. It is a live call-in show, in which we pick a topic ahead of time, let you know what it is, and then, of course, ask you to call in and ask any questions regarding that topic, or any questions you might have regarding anything regarding health, because that's what the show's all about, trying to help you live a healthier lifestyle. And our phone lines are 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. You call in and pass the question along to our producer, and they'll pass the question along to us. So we picked out the topic for today's show because it's, I just said right before we went on the air that there's two times of the year when this is really affects everyone, which is stress. The two biggest times of the year, that's the holidays, Christmas, and tax time. So
depends on the person.
Now, exactly.
Some people get refunds, so that's not
true.
stressful.
Yeah.
Some people, that's actually a good thing.
I used to hear about those, but
I know, exactly.
But really, I mean, the Christmas time, the holiday season, the end of the year, it becomes really stressful for people.
Oh, very. Probably one of the most stressful times of the year. It really is. I mean, tax time carries its own weight, but yeah, but no doubt that the holiday season, you know, it really starts probably in October, end of October with Halloween, all the way through Christmas and into New Year. And because, you know, everybody's got...
Well, you got Thanksgiving, people, you know, a lot of people have family coming over for Thanksgiving. You want to be sure everything's right for that. And then, as you said, you roll right into Christmas season.
Right. Yeah, you know, and that's one of the biggest issues. You know, well, it's like with family, with, you know, Thanksgiving, all through the holidays and so on. Sometimes you can get into family overload. You know, where you had to, you need to take time to just step back and take a breather, chill pill, whatever, and say, okay, I need a little time for me, you know. And most people don't do that. They think they're too worried about what's going on with everybody else.
Especially the women.
Especially the women. And even the guys just show it differently.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. But
well, that's like the old book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Yeah.
You know, there's the way you handle things differently.
Right.
You know, women, they're going to express it to you, let you know. They don't want you to solve their problem, but they just want you to be sounding board. Well, guys, we kind of go into our cave.
Yeah.
And we deal with it, stress on our own different way.
when it comes to Christmas time, it's usually most women that do all the work, though.
Correct.
I mean, honestly, y'all got to admit, you don't do much extra at Christmas. You don't. I mean, most of the time it is, but not always. I'm sure there's a few men out there that actually do some stuff at Christmas time. But as a whole, I will say, just Christmas anyway is stressful, even if you don't have a lot to do. It might be a time where you have lost a person, and that makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
especially if it's been recent.
Yeah.
You know, those of us, you know, of course, our loved ones we've passed over the years. I mean, my parents have been gone for several years now, but still, you know, it's a hard time because I remember all the times that we had together.
Oh yeah, sure.
During the holidays.
that's always a toughie, you know.
They do know there's a lot of depression around Christmas. Not only is it Christmas, but it's also the sun people aren't out in the sun anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when you're not out in the sun, they definitely know the seasonal affective disorder is real. So sad. Where when you don't have as much daylight, you're not out in the sun, you get a little bit depressed anyway. So that is a big part of this time of the year because of actually the temperature, the coldness, all that makes a difference.
Winter solstice, you know, and the 21st is, I think the 21st is the solstice, so that's the shortest day. So when you look at that, and like she said, talking about that SAD or a seasonal affective disorder, and it's really pronounced in the northern latitudes. Here, it's still here because we, you know, let's face it, 5 o'clock, it's dark, for goodness sakes. You know? And that really works on you because you don't have that time that you normally had to, like maybe after work, to get out in the yard or go to the beach or whatever. You just don't have the time for it, you know, because there's no sun out. So it definitely works on us, and that's when it becomes a real
And here lately,
issue.
since it's been so foggy and everything,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
It's gloomy.
That just kind of adds on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need some sunshine. You know, the folks up in the Pacific Northwest, I mean, God bless them. I don't see how they. I mean,
Don't know how they do it.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't, because here we've had fog, like I say, for the past week or so. We've just had fog day in, day out kind of thing, you know,
Right.
and that's really tough on us. Yeah, it really is, mentally.
And actually, for the season, the SAD, we do have something that people can take just that time of the year that would actually help, and that is 5-HTP. 5-HTP increases serotonin, and that's one thing that goes down if you don't get enough sunlight is your serotonin. And so that's a really good thing for more of your depression type symptoms around this time of the year. You cannot take it if you're already on an antidepressant, if you're on a SSRI.
Right.
So you can't take it with that. But if you're not, a lot of people say, I don't want to have to get on an antidepressant just for a few months of the year where I have a problem. Because we do hear that a lot.
We
So
hear a
that is
lot.
something that you can take. It's easy. It does not have withdrawal when you get off of it is the easy thing. It's not like once you start taking it, you got to take it forever.
Right.
You don't. You actually can take it when you, and then get off of it when later and you won't have any withdrawal from it.
Right.
And so that's the good thing about the 5-HTP is it can actually help with depression, helps a little bit with anxiety. There's probably better things for the anxiety end of it, but the depression definitely, and it does help sleep. And it does
Yes.
actually help with sugar cravings. And this time of the year, everybody is eating too much sugar.
Everybody's eating too much, period.
Period,
Exactly,
yeah.
you're right.
Well, that's
And then the
overindulgence.
weight
Yeah.
gain don't help people's anxiety
No.
over the holidays either because
No.
people want to be involved and go to the parties and eat and be able to do what they want. And then they gain those 10 pounds and believe me, nobody's happy about that.
No.
So that's another thing that is actually depressing. And I tell people, try to limit it to not every day. Don't say it's the holidays, I can eat what I want every day. Limit it to a few parties and Christmas Day and just not to where you gain so much weight because then you just have to lose it at the new year.
And I have found that the older that I get, the harder it is to get off.
It is.
To get the weight off of you.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's another reason why stress in the holidays is, people don't think stress, gaining weight is stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people, they stress eat.
Right.
Yes.
We
Right.
were having a
That's what the
conversation over the weekend.
5-HTP helps with too. It really does.
Yeah.
If you get that serotonin up, you're not going to crave it as much.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to do 5-HTP is just to keep the sugar cravings down
Yeah.
and carbohydrate cravings. It's sugar and carbohydrates that actually higher serotonin does help with.
Okay.
Well, and actually, it takes those carbohydrates to make serotonin. So that's one of the issues.
Wow. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. We're talking about stress and the holidays this morning and how to deal with it. And if you have any questions regarding that or anything regarding your health, we invite you to pick up the phone and give us a call. Again, then the phone numbers are 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. 8 minutes after 9 o'clock on this Monday morning, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm Jim Tabor, along with Dr. Jim and Janine Fox. We're talking about the holiday stress and things that to deal with this time of the year and how to deal with it in a healthy way. So if you have questions, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Anxiety, that's one of
Yes.
the big things this time of the year.
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the
Right.
biggest things. Really, is that anxiety, just feeling overwhelmed. I mean, there's so much to do, so much you got to do, blah blah blah, and it's just overwhelming, and it really gets to us. And that's probably one of the biggest complaints that we get in our store. People calling us and coming in and asking, because of the anxiety. What have you got that I can take for anxiety? And we've talked about L-theanine.
I was just thinking that.
Oh,
Well, actually, it was on sale last week.
yeah, it was
Yes.
on sale last week.
And-
And let me tell you what, it is probably one of the safest and best things that we've got. You can take enough of it, depending on, it's dose dependent. Whatever it takes for you to work. I mean, we use a lower doses on children, for ADD and focus and so on. And then for adults, for dealing with anxiety, you just have to take as much as it takes
Right,
to.
and you usually have to take 2 capsules,
Or
and you can
3.
take it every 4 to 6 hours if needed.
Right.
The good thing about theanine is it works when you take it. If you don't need it, you don't have to take it. So it's one that a lot of people like that not something that they don't have to continually take for a month before it works.
Right.
You don't. On
That's
it,
right.
you take it, 30 minutes later, you feel the difference.
Yeah.
And what it does not sedate you, so it does not make you sleepy. It actually changes your brain waves. Because when people get anxious, the brain waves, the alpha waves of the brain kind of slow down. And then that makes panic attacks and makes you more anxious, and it just causes all kind of problems. This actually helps the brain, alpha waves in the brain, to actually be more active.
And it quietens down those things like the delta theta, all those other guys.
Other waves.
Yeah.
So it changes brain waves. So it's not sedative. It does not make you sleepy. And that is the good thing about theanine, is it's not something, other things, yeah, you can take something and then you're so tired you can't get through it. So the theanine does not do that to you.
No.
And it does help focus. It makes you more stay
Really?
on task, focus, and that's one thing, I guess, if you have a lot to do and you have a bunch of people coming over, you need to stay on task. You need to be able to get it done.
Trying to get your Christmas shopping done.
Right. Now, Christmas shopping get it done early is one way you can actually help with the stress of that. Don't wait until the last minute like a lot of people do. Because that
Well,
really,
This year is probably going to be really tough because there's a lot of stuff. If you've looked around out there, there's a lot of things that the stores are out of, don't have, whatever. So if you're waiting to the last minute this year, it's going to be tough, and that's just going to be added stress to you. So,
don't wait till the last minute. You still have a few weeks.
yeah.
So get it done now. Don't wait till the last minute.
2 weeks.
And one thing,
Yeah.
2 weeks,
exactly.
yeah, 2 weeks, that's it.
One thing is, don't strive for perfection.
Oh no.
It don't really matter. I mean, think about it. You're the one that's a lot of times putting the stress on yourself.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And everybody else don't care if it's perfect, and don't care if the food is perfect, and don't care if the decorations are perfect. So, make it easier on yourself. I mean, this year I always have the perfect wrapping, and it always is so pretty, and everything matches. And this year I've had a lot else going on, so I used bags. It was so much easier.
It was easier on me too. Okay. Because
So much easier.
the stress kind of bleeds over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get
So
that
it really,
drift.
and all that wrapping hurts your back. If you're bent over, I mean, it really does. It could actually affect your back pain. So that's another thing that affects health, is things that you have to do during the holiday, and maybe falling off the roof, putting up Christmas lights like somebody else in our office did. There's a lot of ways you can get hurt and
Yep.
health hazards during the holidays.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I didn't fall off the
No,
ladder.
it wasn't him. I don't let him on the roof. I don't let him do that.
We're not going to put up any lights that have to have a
No,
ladder.
no.
That's
Yeah.
that's
No
out of the
ladders.
question.
And I live in a townhouse, so that'd be really way
Really
up there.
tough,
No,
yeah,
yeah.
Now, we want to be safe this time of year too, and like I say, there's stay off
Yeah,
ladders and things if you
exactly.
can. So, but like she said, something like striving perfection. Most people think, everything's got to be just right. Most people don't care. I mean, honestly, if that cake that you bake, that's your prize cake, if it's not perfect in your eyes, we might think it's great. I mean, gosh, look at this, so just kind of chill.
Yeah,
Do
try to
it.
relax, do some deep
Yeah.
breathing.
Oh yeah,
If you do start getting anxious, deep breathing exercises are great.
Right.
And there's also all kind of meditation apps that you can get on your phone nowadays.
Yes.
So there's all kind of things you can do for that. So you just have to kind of,
take a walk on the beach.
Yep.
I mean, here
Take a break.
We have time, yeah. Or if nothing else, go get you a cup of coffee by yourself and just sit in the corner and watch everybody else go crazy. You love what I mean, really. I've always
We
been
were
kind
at
of
the mall shopping yesterday, and all the people that were lined up for Santa Claus.
Yeah, perfect place to do it. Get you a cup of coffee and just sit at the mall and watch everybody go. They're just going nuts, and you're just sitting there kind of like, oh, okay, cool,
Yeah.
whatever, have fun.
All right, we have a caller called in with a question. Again, if you have a question regarding anything regarding your health, please feel free to call. They ask, is there anything I can take to help with Parkinson's disease?
That's a toughie.
there definitely is things to help.
Yeah.
Not saying it gets rid of it. And it really depends on the person. Now, there's been a lot of research on probiotics and Parkinson's.
There have been.
So there's been a lot of stuff about the gut connection to Parkinson's. Also, depending on whether you're on medication or not. Now, if you're on medication, you cannot take the supplements that increase dopamine
Right.
with your medication. But if you're not on medication yet, yes, there's something called Dopa Boost, tyrosine. There's things that you can do to actually help the body make more dopamine itself. But again, you cannot take it with the L-Dopa drugs.
Now, one thing that we've used and over the years and had some decent results with is glutathione. And you can
Really
get
good.
really good, and it's one of those things where unfortunately it takes quite a bit of it, and long term. I mean, this is not, Parkinson's is not something that's going to go away next week. So it's something you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's a chronic condition. You have to deal with it. And there's, but like she
And
said,
we
there's
do,
a-
now the good thing is the glutathione you can take with any of the medications.
Oh, yeah, it can take
and
with
that
any
is
medication.
definitely something I would do. So we have it in both, like the liposomal form is what you have to have,
Right.
and we have it both in liquid and in pills.
Right.
So we have both of those. Another things for Parkinson's is the red light therapy.
yes,
We have had people with Parkinson's get in the red light and they can tell a big difference, and they
Right.
walk better, they move better. Again, you got to continue it in order to keep
Right.
the benefits up, but it definitely makes a difference.
yeah. There's some decent research on the red light
It is.
therapy with it.
There
really
is, yeah. Just Google that Parkinson's and red light therapy. There
Yeah.
is definitely some research out there, and you do it at a certain hertz.
Matter of fact, you can go back and look at go to doctorsnutrition.com, and you can or on their Facebook page and find
YouTube, yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Go to and find the segment that we've done before, whole half hour that we've done on the
Red light.
Red light
therapy.
therapy.
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway,
good too. There's a whole bunch of stuff for Parkinson's, and everybody's different. We always, again, look at the lab work, see what your deficiencies are, and you always want to fix those too.
Always,
Yeah.
always.
all right, our phone lines are open at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. We're going to be back with our final segment and also this week's special. And welcome back, our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. We're in our final segment this morning, so we invite you to call in with any questions, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. It's 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and show you what this week's special is.
It's the 5-HTP because that's perfect time of the year for it. This is when everybody needs it, at least one of the times that everybody needs it. And so we decided to put that on sale. And
Yeah.
we have two strengths. We have a 50 milligram and a 100 milligram. Typically we use the 50s for the younger people, children, et cetera, and then the 100 milligrams in various doses for the adults.
Right. And 5-HTP stands for 5-hydroxytryptophan.
Right.
So people always say, what does that stand for? So the 5-HTP definitely is used for anxiety and
Yeah.
depression, cannot be used with the SSRI. So if you're already on an
Right.
SSRI antidepressant, you cannot
Right.
take it with it. So, but if you're not, it is a good one to take, and it definitely, you see a difference pretty fast is the good thing with 5-HTP. Like you don't have to take it for a month or two before you see a difference.
Oh no, it works quick.
So that's the good thing about the 5-HTP. It also helps sleep as well. So if somebody's having trouble sleeping due to the anxiety, or their mind won't stop, or they're thinking about all the stuff they have to do, that's a good one to take as well. So that's definitely one
Yeah.
of the things you can do. Like I said, there's a lot of things you can do. The 5-HTP is one of them. You know, we talked about the theanine. We also have SAMe, which is acetyldenylmethionine. That's actually good for anxiety and depression.
Right.
Kava. Kava is just now that is kind of your chill pill. You cannot take it with any of the benzodiazepines. So
Right.
if you're already on something like that, you cannot take those together. There's a lot of things you can do. We have something called Brain Reset that helps with anxiety and depression. We have a lot of different things, and depending on the person and depending on what's going on with them, we can advise you on which one might be best for you.
Right.
All right. Can you explain neuropathy and anything that can help it?
Well,
Yes.
neuropathy is basically damage to the nerves,
Right.
any nerve. It can happen in any nerve. However, most of the time when you think about neuropathy, most people are thinking of peripheral neuropathies, which are in the lower legs and extremities that you see with diabetes,
Hands and feet, but it doesn't
hands and
have to be.
feet. Doesn't have to be diabetes. It can be from anything. So, I mean, a lot of other things can damage those nerves. One of the things that we see clinically, and we have to look at this clinically, what we see, 'cause we do a lot of lab work, and we see a lot of people's lab work that they bring into us and so on, is low B12. Now, B12 can help in some cases.
If it's a
and-
deficiency.
If it's a deficiency, and it can for sure help protect what you've got going on
Yeah.
with that. But there's other things, you know, the alpha lipoic acid is probably
Yeah.
one of
To
the
me, with
best.
neuropathies, you have to look at first, why do you have it?
Why do you have
Is
it,
it
right.
diabetic neuropathy? If it is, and you don't control that sugar, it will never get better because
Oh.
the sugar is damaging the nerve, and it's hard to help the nerve when you keep doing what's damaging it.
Right.
So we always say you got to look at it now. If it's a back problem, I mean, that's another issue that you got to look at is it something that you can go to a chiropractor and be helped with? Is it something that laser may be beneficial for? Because laser does actually help with neuropathies.
It does.
You got to look, you know, some people, sometimes if it's something that happened because of a surgery, those are the hardest because you might have had damage and even real severe damage to where it's not repairable. Nerves don't heal quickly. So on neuropathies, anything we use takes
Those that have
time.
been on chemotherapy or
Right,
treatment.
Chemotherapy is
because it
bad about
damages
it,
the
yeah.
nerves.
Yes.
They
So
see a lot of that.
So those, like I said, there are things. Now we do have something called NeuroRenew, And the NeuroRenew, it really does help. I've had people that did not think that they had tried everything, and that really helped. It is a combination of the B12 and the methylfolate and the alpha lipo, or actually the R-lipoic and benfotiamine, and so it's a combination of things that all can help neuropathies. So depending on what's causing the neuropathy, we can actually help you figure out what might be best for that.
Okay.
Right.
I'm a bit hard of hearing, and I didn't quite catch the name of the supplement that you were talking about earlier that helps with anxiety. What was the name of it again?
The L-theanine. That's the one we were talking about, and it is, like I said, it's one that you can take with any medication is the good thing. There's nothing that you can't take it with.
Right.
It has one of the safest things you can take for anxiety. It does not make you sleepy. It does not dull you down. And the dosage really depends on the person. I think most adults need 2 at a time at least. I do take 3 at a time sometimes. So I do take it myself. He takes it.
I take
you
it.
take it.
I take it.
Oh, yeah.
We all take it.
We're all addicted.
We're
all addicted, whatever.
Right.
I say whatever. Yeah. Now, and it's theanine, Theanine,
Right.
theanine. So a lot of people have a real hard time pronouncing it, but it's real simple, theanine, and it's actually an extract from tea. Camellia, the plant, the tea. Yeah, the tea leaf.
You have to huge amounts of the tea to get enough theanine.
Because people often ask, well, can I drink my tea? Well, sure you can drink your tea, but now you're not going to get any theanine that way.
It's going to be gallons and gallons and gallons in order to get
hundreds
enough
of gallons.
of it.
Then you'll spend the rest of the day in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Probably so. Probably so. So yeah, but and you brought up an interesting point a little bit earlier about the gut connection.
Yeah.
And this time of year, I hate to say it, but this time of year, people tend to eat a lot of things that they don't eat the rest of the year that's going to aggravate the gut, and you get that gut upset, the brain's upset.
Right.
Just the way it works.
And probiotics, one of the best things you can do.
Yes.
Also, don't eat too much that's going to aggravate it.
Right.
But probiotics definitely has been shown to help with anxiety and depression.
No doubt about it.
Does take a little bit of time for that to work. It is not an instant, unfortunately.
Right.
But it might help the stomach ache and maybe some of the upset stomach from the holidays. It does help pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it definitely, that makes a difference. There's a lot of things you can do. Natural things, there's a lot of things you can do. Like I said, go take a walk. If it is sunny, go sit out in the sun. That definitely helps too. Without sunglasses.
Yeah, and grounding. I don't know if many of you have heard about the term grounding. That's where you're barefooted and actually
in the grass. Go
in
walk
the grass
around
or on the
barefoot.
ground.
Yeah.
Right, or on the beach, barefooted. Because it really does help. There's quite a bit of research on it. At first I thought, that's kind of weird. But when you start digging into it, hey, there's some actually decent science behind this stuff.
That's all we did when we were kids. We ran around barefooted all
well,
the time.
we didn't know anybody.
I still do. I'm always barefooted.
Yeah, we
for the
didn't
most
know
part,
anybody.
yeah, me too.
I
just
am always barefooted.
have to watch the landmines in the backyard with the dogs. So.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Ours go on the pad, so there's not
Yeah. But still, there is quite a bit of research on it, so and it really does help with this. Just kind of make you feel better, kind of ties everything together. And like I say, just take some time for yourself. That's probably one of the biggest things that you can take away is take some me time.
Yep.
Just you.
And don't try to make everything perfect.
No. Don't worry, and learn to say no.
Right, exactly. That's a big
That's probably the biggest one.
Somebody wants you to do something and you don't want to do it, just say no.
Yeah.
Instead of getting anxious about it, say no. I do it all the time. People just look at me like they can't believe I say that. And I'm like, I started that a long time ago.
Just say no.
If you don't want to do it and it's going to make you anxious, just say no.
There you go. So next week.
Next week we're going to talk about health issues that come with cold weather or the winter.
Okay.
Yep.
Help you deal with that.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us here this morning on our live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. You can find more information at doctorsnutrition.com as well as on their Facebook page. But thank you again for joining us this morning. We will see you again next Monday morning for another live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. Take care.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.